Okay, welcome everyone. This is the Premier Chess Adult Beginner. This is the summer 2021 class. This is week 2. So I got a request from Richard Popper to analyze one of his correspondence games. So we're going to do that in detail. And and I encourage all of you, when you play your games, to send me a few of them, preferably your losses, right? Because we learn more from our losses, I'll definitely analyze them in class, and I think that can benefit everyone.
I just
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
no, I just wanted to ask a quick question about Lee chess, which I'm somewhat unfamiliar with.
Uh-huh.
Why these unusual game times? I mean, I played a game and where I thought that it was 10 minutes per move. It turned out the whole game was 10 minutes, but it's 5+3 and 10+2. It just seems very odd. And I figured out what they mean by it, but what's the
Okay, so
rationale for those strange strange specifications?
So all right, so let me just I'll just really quick go to the home screen just so we're on the same page. So Amanda, do you have a Leechess account?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so this is the home screen, and you get there by just hitting the website up here, and so here you go to lobby. So this is the games, the seeks that people are making. Actually, I made mine. I like I only want to see fast games, so that's just me. But but you can go to quick pairing right here, and if you click one of these buttons, it will automatically pair you with someone around your skill level. So 1+0 is a bullet game. So this means 1 minute with 0 increments. So each side gets 1 minute to play the entire game. So it's a pretty fast game.
What?
And yeah. Yeah, I'm a big bullet player. That's just me though. But anyway, 2+0, a little slower, 2 minutes each side, and 1 second. This means increment. So every time you make a move, 1 second is added to the clock, right? That's what that means. And then you get a little bit slower, 3 minutes, and no increment, 3 minutes and 2 seconds. So when I analyze games from the students, I recommend that you do 10-minute, 10+0 or slower, right? Because I don't really want time pressure to be a reason why you make bad moves.
So
Right.
a 30-minute is obviously 30+0 is obviously a 30-minute game in total.
Yep. Yeah. But each side gets 30 minutes to make all of their moves. Yeah. So you can either lose on the
but
board.
Then the 30+20 adds 20 times.
No, adds
20 seconds times 40 moves or something.
No. Every time you make a move, it adds 20 seconds to your clock. So yeah, there's really no time pressure with this, right?
What's the total duration of that game?
Well, theoretically, it could have no end, right? Because
I mean, it's
every time you move,
like a 30+0 would be an hour total, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, right. 30+0 would be each side has half hour to make their entire move, so theoretically it could last about an hour, the whole game. So yeah, so it's up to you, but I recommend that you guys do 10+0 or lower. Personally, I despise increments because I think it how you say I think when you know that you have a certain amount of time, like say 10 minutes to make all your moves, it encourages you to to prioritize how you think much more efficiently. Because if you think that there's an endless amount of time, like for example, 30+20, you're like, oh, I'm going to get 20 seconds if I make a move. So it doesn't really matter if it's a bad move or not. It's like, I don't know. I think it encourages poor play, right? But I think without increment, when you know that every time you make a move, you're not getting any more time added, right? Then I think you become a little bit more conscientious and deliberate with your moves, right? So I definitely encourage no increment. That's just personally, that's just me. I don't like to play a game with someone where it could theoretically go on for hours and hours, because I'm sure we all have lives and we got things to do, right? So yeah. So if you guys want to do that and play some games, and then send them to me, if you have pretty ones that you want to analyze, that'd be wonderful. Because it's great to analyze grandmaster games and world-class games, but at the same time, if it's your own games and you see how you're thinking and most likely everyone in this group would probably be on the similar level. So it's more relatable, right? When I analyze games from you guys. So
Thank
that's
you.
to keep in mind. Yeah.
Danilo, this is Monty Engler. I'm sort of a new guy. I'm going to be attending this class.
Sure. Well,
I don't know if Evan mentioned that to you.
Sure.
You know, I take
Is it just this class or for the rest of the semester?
no for a while.
Excellent.
I'm
Welcome.
taking private lessons from him, but I listened and I thought I could benefit for this. But just one suggestion on what you're talking about, and I apologize for being a little late.
No, that's fine.
I find that the 10+0 games are I find myself feeling too much pressure to. I make moves before I'm ready to make them. I feel the time pressure, and it says in the bottom right, it says custom. So I've taken to do 15. I put up 15-0.
Yeah, that's fine.
And and it gives you a little more time, and so there just a thought for those people thinking that 10+0 isn't enough.
Right. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, custom. If you don't like any of these time controls, you can go to custom, and then you can choose what time control you want. So these are all the different variants. There's a lot of different chess variants. Crazy House, Chess960, and I'll discuss more why I love Chess960, but that's my favorite. I think it's even better than standard chess, my opinion. King of the Hill. See, these are all different time control variants, and they're pretty fun. So you want to do real time. Correspondence is like really slow. That's like you get 3 days to make one move. so that's where you can have a whole game, and just last weeks or something. And I typically have many correspondence games going at once, because I like to have my mind always thinking and working. And so yeah, it kind of encourages that. So yeah, real time. Make sure it's real time, and then you can adjust however many minutes you want, for both sides, and then increment if you want any increment, although I definitely recommend 0. And always make sure it's rated. That's another thing. So casual means you won't get affected with your rating, but you do want to have a rating, established rating. It's much better for your profile. Yeah. And then here's the rating range, like the person that you want to play. So yeah, something like this. 400 points less than you, 500 points more, something like that. And then
Well, what if you have no rating? How do you start?
Yeah, so if you have no rating, you can still click rating, and you're going to play someone that's going to be rated. So over time, you're going to get an established rating. Maybe like after 20, 30 games, you'll get an established rating. And
No, but how do you press a rating range if you have no rating?
Well, no, you can still do it. Like, you can still make a rated game even if you're unrated. If you're.
It seems to start you off at 1500. I played one game.
Yeah.
Not being familiar with lead chess, I played one game, and I said, like I said, and I support Monty's notion of 10 being really, for someone coming from correspondence chess, I was like experiencing time stress to the extreme, and I played the absolute worst game, and my rating went down 500 points.
Yeah. So when it goes down that much,
Ouch.
that means you're provisional, right? So in the beginning, it's going to vary like that, hundreds of points, but then the more you play, the less provisional you'll get, and then your rating will only vary like 10 points, something like 10, 15 points, whether you win or lose. And always make sure that you click the center button, right? The center button means it's randomized whether you get white or black, right? If you want just black, you click this, just white, but I think randomized is much better. So that's it. Yeah, that's how you do it. And just to let you know, you can also play the computer over here, right here, play the computer. I don't recommend playing the computer personally. I don't like playing computers because I don't know, it just seems cold and impersonal, and I much prefer playing humans. So I never ever like playing computers personally. I think computers lack imagination and creativity and brilliance, which is what humans tend to have, right? So yeah. So Lead Test is a wonderful website. I love it. A lot of great features on it.
I agree with that. I've been a member since December, and I find myself doing puzzles all the time.
Yeah. So they have a daily puzzles. So just to let you know, if you want to get into that, that's also cool. So here you hover over the puzzles tab, and it drops down all these different things. So this is like a daily puzzle. This shows you how many puzzles you did and which ones you did. You can examine them. I guess this shows you, your streak and how well you've been doing. This is pretty cool. This is Puzzle Racer. So real quick, I'll just show you this one. So okay, so has anybody played Puzzle Racer?
I watched Evan play it. I was knocked out.
I think
Oh,
you
no.
selected Puzzle Storm.
Sorry. Yeah, that was Puzzle Storm. This is Puzzle Racer. So basically, you're playing with a group of other people around your same skill level as well. And let's say you join a public race, it's going to put you with a bunch of other people, and so you're a car, and so you have to solve chess puzzles, and the more you solve, the faster your car goes. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. Both my kids do it. Like every time they have their chess time, I make sure they do that as well, and they love it. It's fun. So yeah, that's Puzzle Racer. A lot of fun. And then Puzzle Storm is kind of similar, except it's just you trying to solve as many puzzles as possible. And so yeah, that's a lot of fun. So yeah, feel free to check all those out.
Danilo, quick question. When
Sure.
you do puzzles, do you have a separate puzzle rating, or?
Yes, you do. Yeah.
Okay.
So you go into just the way you check your profile, top right hand corner is your name, your username. So click profile, and then so you see here, these are all my ratings, right? So I played a lot of different types of chess, and then you go all the way down, and so here's my puzzle rating. Here's my Puzzle Storm. So I played Puzzle Storm 7 times, so not that many. And 55 is my best, like 55 puzzles I've solved in 3 minutes or something. So that's my best. Puzzle Racer. Yeah, I haven't done Puzzle Racer much. And I haven't done Puzzle Streak much either. But yeah, those are fun. So yeah, that's good. It's like to keep your mind active and flexible, and so I definitely recommend.
Addictive.
Say again?
They're addictive.
They're addictive,
I
yeah.
agree. The one time I did it, I sort of felt like I was gambling or something.
Gambling without losing your money. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
The only thing bad about it is your ego gets shattered when you're trying it sometimes.
Yeah, and I think it's also good to not know like the age of the other people. Like I assume you're talking about Puzzle Racer, right?
No. I'm talking about my own.
Oh, okay. Because I'm thinking of Puzzle Racer, like if you get beat by some little 6 or 7-year-old, then your ego goes down to 2. You're like, oh my god. Isn't that a show? Like, Are You Smarter Than a 6th Grader or something?
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Where do we got here? What do we got? Hold on.
Why do you like Chess960 best?
Why do I like Chess960? Okay. So actually, you know what? Somebody who's been in my class, can you what do you guys think? I've said it many times, right? Monty, I think you've been with me for a couple of times, and Adam. Oh, actually, first of all, what is Chess960? Let's define it first.
Well, Chess960 is where the pieces are rearranged, not necessarily in the standard order.
Yeah.
There's like 360 different combinations, and I think part of the reason why some people may like it is because it kind of throws the openings out the window. You have to start thinking right away
Exactly
on how to make your moves.
Exactly. So it was Chess960 was developed, also known as Fischer Random, developed by Bobby Fischer, who I believe was the 14th world champion, 1972. He defeated Boris Spassky and destroy the Soviets' domination of chess at that time in the 20th century. And so he basically came to the conclusion that standard chess position is kind of hackneyed and overplayed, and there's so many books. Like it's like a joke almost that if you want to make money as a chess author, you make a book for chess openings, because every beginner wants to study more openings. So like, you want to make money, make an opening book. But I think that it's kind of it reduces chess to memorization, rote memorization, and robotic play, which is not what chess is about in my mind, right? Chess is about thinking creatively and imagination and understanding the principles and the tactics and the strategy and being able to apply it in any situation, right? So when we start the beginning position with the same setup every single time, usually most people fall into a rut. They say, well, if my opponent's going to do e4, I'm going to do this, you know, and you fall into a pattern. And so what ends up happening is you just robotically, reflexively play the first couple moves as if you're like a robot. You're not thinking, right? But with Chess 960, that completely throws that out the window, because the reason it's called 960 is because there's two rules only with the opening setup, which is bishops must be on opposite colors, and the king must be between the rooks. And so with those rules obeyed, there's 960 possible opening positions. And what that does is it effectively throws out all opening literature, all opening repertoire. So you cannot prepare in terms of opening, you know, memorizing some complex, obscure, because this is what I see a lot of beginners, they're like, okay, I want to get better at chess. Let me go onto YouTube. Let me look at some video of this top player doing some obscure, weird opening trap, and then I'm going to try to ensnare my opponent. And you beat your opponent because, not because you were like, you know, more creative and more ingenious with your ideas and your strategy. No, it's because you saw some video and you memorized some some trickster moves and you got away with it, you know. So in my mind, I don't know, it kind of cheapens chess, you know. That's kind of how I think about it. So I think Chess 960 I think really brings back the value of chess and makes it you know, much you're on an even playing field. Basically, you're on an even playing field with everyone, because nobody can really have any opening repertoire, right? And so, I mean, all the other principles and rules apply in the strategies, forks, discovered checks, skewers, pins, everything still applies. The only thing that gets thrown out of the window is the openings. So that's why I pretty much exclusively play Chess 960. Like I rarely play regular chess at all. Oh, and by the way, if somebody criticizes that, they're like, "What? Chess 960 is not regular chess." Well, you know what? Regular standard chess opening is number 518 out of 960. So it is, standard chess is under the umbrella of Chess 960. So yeah, you see, I played 21 Chess 960 games on June 21st. I play a lot of 960. See, look, 49 games. That's how much I love it. So yeah. Does
49 games in one day? What?
yeah, well, of course, bullet games. You know, these are I only play 1 minute bullet games in Chess 960. So I'm a fiend. I'm a chess fiend. So I got to be careful, because sometimes I can stay up too late playing this stuff. It's pretty addicting for me. So
So I've been doing with-
so yeah, for example, this is my best win. For example, in Chess 960, this is I played an IM. IM stands for International Master. See, this guy is much higher rated than me, right? 2583, right? And yeah, and this is just one example. So this is, and it tells you the number. This is position 928, right? 928. So yeah, I mean, if you
always have the same position.
say again.
Black and white are always the same in their starting position.
Yes, it's mirror image. Yeah, mirror image of each other. And actually, that's another thing that I kind I have all these hangouts, right? That's another thing that I kind of criticize the idea of mirror images, because like when my kids play each other, my kids are 10 and 8, right? And so I have them play chess as often as possible. I try to do it every day. And one thing that I hear them complain sometimes, they say, "He's copying me." So if I do, if one of them does this, the other one's gonna do this. If one of them does this, the other one's gonna do this. And then they start complain, "Daddy, he's copying me." So so the way I resolve that is, I do, when my kids play, I have them do Chess 960, but both sides are random. So they are not mirror images of each other. So that it completely. So I never hear that complaint ever again. That's how I deal with that, right?
Is that a setting that you can request within Lead Chess, or is that your
Um,
special?
I'm not even sure. I mean, you can custom make a position and then just, I guess, I think you can make a seek. I'm not sure if you can custom make. I'm not even sure. You know, I do know in the late '90s, when I was really big into speed chess and bullet, and I was playing on this website called Internet Chess Club, and they had multiple wild variants of chess. One of them was 960 mirror images like this, and the other variant was random 960 positions, and I thought that was really awesome. So So that's what I do to make it even. You know why? You know why I do that? Because I think chess is too simple and I need to complicate it more. No. I really I do enjoy challenging myself and my kids challenging each other, right? So also I don't want to hear that complaint of he's copying me anymore. So that's the basic reason. So yeah. All right. So oh yeah, another thing is are you guys would you guys be interested like if I took some top chess 960 games and analyze them with you, would that be interesting for you guys to do? Maybe?
Yes.
All right, maybe we'll do that maybe next time. That's a pretty cool idea. All right, just thought of that. Okay, so let's see what. All right, so we're gonna start with Richard's game. So this is a correspondence game. So Richard is black. And let's see what happened here. All right, so d4, d5. Okay, so good. Both trying to control the center. Very good. Occupying center squares, controlling other center squares. Very good. Okay, c4. So what is this? What is this called? Anybody can name this opening for me?
Queen's
The
Gambit?
Queen's Gambit. Yeah. Did everyone see the Netflix series Queen's Gambit, by the way?
I would think we all did.
Read the book.
You didn't see it, Samantha? Okay,
I
it was
read the
awesome.
book.
Oh, you read the book?
I read the book and never saw the movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was wonderful, and it inspired so many people. So many people contacted me, asking me about it. Have you heard about this thing? And of course, I'm a chess coach. How am I not going to hear about it? So I saw it, and yeah, I loved it. I actually saw it with my kids, and my daughter especially loved it because it features a female protagonist, which in a lot of these chess movies, it's mostly men, main characters, main theme, main protagonists. So even though it was a fictional account, I think it still is very valuable because it inspired so many people, and women and girls alike have been inspired to take up chess as a result of it. And by the way, for those of you who just joined this class, when that came out it was like, what was it? I think it was October 2020 when it came out. Chess was already on the rise in terms of interest because of the lockdown, but the interest in chess spiked even greater after that. And it was so high that there was actually a shortage of chess sets. Like you couldn't find a chess set in Walmart, Target, Amazon. It was sold out. The suppliers of chess sets couldn't keep up with the demand, I thought, which was pretty amazing. it's like all the things to have a shortage of. Who would ever think a chess set, So I could have, if I wanted to make some extra cash, I could have sold some of my chess sets at a great at a great profit, but I'm too sentimental with my chess sets. I cannot part with even one of them. So all right, so this is Queen's Gambit, and then we have Queen's Gambit Decline. So basically, let's just define what is a gambit first of all. Can anybody define that? What do you mean when you say gambit?
Where one side black offers a pawn in exchange for potential improvement of his position maybe at a later time.
Right. So a gambit is a sacrificed piece, usually a pawn. Sometimes it's another piece, but usually it's a pawn. And the reason that it's sacrificed is so that the person who's sacrificing the pawn does so to gain an advantage in development or initiative or attack, right? And in this case, so remember I said it's very important that both sides were trying to control and occupy the center. So white goes c4, and I mean, I also would say that the Queen's Gambit is not really it's not really, I wouldn't classify it as really a gambit, a true gambit, because a gambit is where the pawn is not so easily recovered, right? Whereas here, this pawn is quite easily recovered after like e3, opening up the bishop, knight a3. So or even a quick recovery. If you don't even want to wait that long, you can go queen a4 and you forked king and pawn, and then you recover the pawn and that's it. So it's equality again. So it's not really a true gambit. But what it does is it does if black were to take, now you have lured away black's occupation of the center. So he no longer enjoys control of the center. So now white can go e4 and now has pretty much complete control of the center. And when the bishop comes here, it's going to be even more powerful, targeting the f7 pawn. So that's really the goal, is to lure away the center pawn. And so most of the times it's not considered a good strategy to accept it, right? So e6 is what Richard did. Knight c3, knight f6, good developing moves, always towards the center, right? Very good. Controlling or protecting d5, controlling e4, and white's doing the same thing. So knight f3. So just standard developing moves towards the center. Both people are going towards the center. Very good. So bishop b7 is good. Also good possibly would be bishop g4, pinning the knight. So they're all good moves. So bishop e7, bishop g5. So now one reason for bishop g5 is so the knight is doing a good job of supporting the d5 pawn and controlling e4. So bishop g5 threatens to remove the knight, thereby weakening black's control or influence over the center, right? Okay, castle, good. So I always say this, there's Alexander Alekin, the I think he was the 4th world champion. He said castle early, castle often, right? So black castled on move 5. So this is really good, right? You want to castle as soon as possible. So black here was obeying wonderfully the opening principles of try to control the center, develop towards the center, and develop your minor pieces and castle as soon as possible. So very good. E3. Okay, B6. So now clearly, so this is one kind of difficulty with this position, right? The bishop on C8 kind of has a difficult time getting to a good square, right? So he's blocked on B7, and here he's blocked on with the pawn on E6. So I mean, so B6 is the idea of fianchettoing the bishop on B7 and hopefully have large influence along the big diagonal, the light square diagonal, and then perhaps trade away the pawn so that the scope of the bishop is open, right, and exerting a lot of influence. All right, so okay, so with bishop a6, that's I would say that's a pretty good move, because this bishop, so if black went bishop to b7, what do you think would be a good move for white to make sure that this bishop doesn't have a lot of scope? What do you guys think?
Push the white pawn from c4 to c5.
Okay, c4 to c5. Okay, so we can take, and take. And now black's kind of winning now. Now black has just won a pawn, and maybe he's just going to bring the bishop back, push the c pawn. So I think black is doing pretty good here. So there's a better way to try and, make sure this bishop doesn't have long range.
How about white moves pawn e4?
Pawn e4. Again, that just drops a pawn, right? So we have 1, 2 attacking, and we have 1, 2 defending. So this pawn, this knight is well defended. That means that white just lost a pawn.
What about the pawn to d5?
Okay, pawn to d5. Oh, capture the pawn on d5. Okay, so capturing the pawn on d5. So if black captures with the pawn, now this bishop doesn't really have an easy way to get the black pawn out of the way so that he can have influence, right? So that would be one way to do it. But black doesn't have to capture with the pawn, right? Black could capture with the knight, and now he's exposing an attack on the g5 bishop. And so if he takes back, maybe he can go knight to e7, and now as you can see, the bishop is nice and active, right? So there's actually another way. Anybody have an idea? Another idea?
What about taking the pawn?
Well, that's what he just said. So we take the pawn, and he can take back with the knight, right? And then if he takes our bishop, we take with the knight, and now the bishop is open. So okay, so here, so the first thing to do would be to get rid of this knight, right? Because that's the whole thing. We want to take here, but the knight can always take back and open up the diagonal. So we take first on f6, bishop takes f6, bishop takes, and now we can take here. And if I mean, you could take with the bishop, but then you're just allowing him to trade the knight for the bishop, and most of the time, bishops are considered a little stronger because they're much more long range. So if he doesn't want to get his bishop traded away, he would take with the pawn, and now we have white has effectively blocked this bishop in, right? Everybody see that? So that's one way to do that. So here, so bishop
So
a6.
that was bishop to f6 was what started that all?
Yeah, bishop f6. Yeah, here.
Okay.
Yeah. So bishop a6. Therefore, I would say it's a pretty good move because this bishop is kind of hard to activate. So yeah, now you're saying you're putting pressure on c4, and if he pushes, you can just trade away with his other bishop, and so yeah, black would be a lot happier in that case. Okay, good. Okay, so knight c6. It's good developing move. Although I think in this case it kind of blocks the c pawn, and it seems a little bit awkward. I mean, I like c5 a little better, and then you can develop the knight, and now you're putting a lot of pressure on the white center. So I think that would be slightly better. All right, so let's continue. Ooh, so yeah. By the way, I analyzed this game using Stockfish on Lichess. Does everybody know how to use that feature? How to analyze your games? Anybody know? No. Okay. All right. So let me go over that. Why not? So let's say I go to my games. So I go to my last game, right? Of course, it's a Chess960 game. See, 1 + 0, 1 minute. So all right. So you go to this game, and then you go to analysis board right here. And now you scroll down and you see this button, request a computer analysis, right? So very simple. You click on this, and it takes a few minutes or a few seconds, actually. It's pretty quick. And it will analyze the entire game and give you a breakdown of inaccuracies, mistakes, blunders, things like that. And so then you can go through the whole game that way. And it's going to show you, and then you can actually click on this. Is pretty fun. Learn from your mistakes. So if you click this, so it takes you to specific points in the game where there was like critical position where you could have made a better move, and it says so I did queen c5, but it says find a better move. What is a better move than queen c5? So you can try to do that, right? So maybe, I don't know. Let's see if it's this one. Is that the correct? No, that's not the correct move. Okay. You can view the solution. All right. So it likes rook e1. Okay. So that says the computer says that's a much better move. So yeah. All right. All right. So that's how you do that. All right. So let's go back. So, oh yeah. So the computer here gives black for queen d6 a double exclamation mark. That means it's a blunder. That means it's really bad move. It's not just a slightly bad. That's a really bad move. So that usually means you're going to blunder material like a piece usually a piece. And when I say pieces, by the way, I mean knights, bishops, rook, or queen, right? So see if you guys can figure this out. Why did the computer give black a double question mark for queen d6? What can white do?
if white goes C5,
Mm-hmm.
uh, if the unless the B pawn, black's pawn captures, the queen's going to have to move back.
Okay. Okay. So C5 attacks the queen. So what if he just takes here? Now what can white do?
Again, the D pawn to C5.
No, there's a better move than that for
You can
white.
you can
Anybody
win the
see?
black bishop.
You take the bishop.
Yeah. So this bishop. So this is one thing, right? That I constantly mention with my students is that when you look at a position, let's say your opponent's position, right? When you look at your opponent's position, and your opponent leaves a piece unprotected, right? For example, in white's position, which of white's pieces are unprotected? Just as an example.
The knight at C3.
Yeah, this knight at C3 is unprotected, right? So if there's going to be a combination, it might involve this knight since it's unprotected, right? So this is, whenever you see unprotected pieces, you should always have alarm bells going off in your mind, thinking something, there might be some combination to do with that, right? And so with black, after knight C6, another reason why knight C6 is not so good, because in this position the bishop is protected, but now with knight C6, bishop is no longer protected, so it's a little bit shaky at the same time as the C6 knight is unprotected, right? So yeah, so not such a good move. Two pieces unprotected that way, and with queen D6, he gave white a basic open invitation to go C5, attack the queen, simultaneously opening up an attack on the bishop, the unprotected bishop, winning the bishop, right? So that's exactly what black did. Black went C5, B takes C5, and okay. So before he took the bishop, he retreated back here, bishop F4, attacking the queen. So forcing black to respond, queen D7, and now he takes the bishop. All right. So yeah. So that was the big mistake there. Was yeah. I mean bishop A6 was a good move, but I think if C5 was played first, and then maybe trade here, might have been not so bad. But okay, let's continue. C takes, E takes, rook A to B8. Good.
Shouldn't have moved the queen. That isn't that the takeaway from that earlier position?
Let's see. So yeah, so let's see. Okay, so a better move here.
Yeah.
So let's see. So what's a better move than queen D6? What would you say? Let me hear some ideas.
Queen D7.
Queen D7.
That way you get your rooks communicating in the.
That's true.
Right.
You are connecting the rooks, which are much stronger connected.
How about knight C4? I mean B4.
Knight B4. Okay, let's see.
That protects the bishop. And
yeah,
the
so
knight
I like knight C4. Now I like knight B4. Now the reason I like it, okay, one, you're protecting your bishop. Two, you're threatening to not threatening, right? You're just you're saying I want to trade my knight for your bishop, which white probably won't want to do. And if he comes off of this this light square diagonal, now what can black do?
Take the pawn.
Yeah, so now black has two pieces, two attackers on C4, and white only has one defender. Therefore, black will win the pawn, right? So yeah, knight B4 is a good move. So probably best move here would be bishop E2. And now, what do you think? Best move here. What do you guys think?
On E5.
Pawn to E5. No, you just lose your pawn. Knight or pawn. What else?
How about knight E4?
Knight E4. Okay, that's an interesting move. Yeah, it exposes an attack on the bishop. Take, say, take. Possible, and this knight is unprotected, so it's pretty forcing move. All right, that's good. Personally, I like again c5, right? Because now we're challenging black's pawn center, right? And also creating more space, right? So for ourselves. So let me just see what the computer recommends for black in this position. Okay, so he recommends taking the pawn. Okay, so that's another idea, taking the pawn, I guess. Let's see, recommends taking back, and now c5. Okay. All right, that's interesting too. And now you can bring the bishop back, and now you have the entire light square diagonal that the bishop can exert influence. So, yeah, okay, that's good. So let's go back. All right, so okay, take. All right, so now, okay. Yeah. White is just he's having a good time just attacking black's queen. Unfortunately, black's queen is being kicked around a lot. So yeah. All right. Yes. This is a very beautiful pawn structure here. Complete control over the c5 square, right? So maybe next would be knight a4 and then knight c5, and it's just pretty dominating from there. All right. Yeah, so drop to pawn. Okay. All right. All right. So attacking. Okay. So let's look at this. So here, black plays knight h5, attacking the bishop, right? And white responds with a counterattack on black's queen. Now, what do you guys think? Good move or bad move?
Which one? The pawn push?
Yeah. So knight is attacking the bishop, the unprotected bishop, and the pawn. White pushes the pawn to counterattack black. What do you think?
I don't like it.
You don't like what?
I don't like the pawn push. I think.
You don't like the pawn push. Okay. Well, he did it anyway. So what do you think? Good move or bad move? What do you think? What's black's best move here?
Take with the pawn.
Okay, so take with the pawn. That is what Richard did. So the computer gives it a dubious move. Question mark and exclamation mark is a dubious move. So there's a much stronger move than.
An alternative was take the bishop and threaten his queen. But
yeah. So, okay. No, sorry about that. Yeah. Hold on. Where is it? Oh, right here. Okay. So, so much stronger move would have been take the bishop. Right now we're threatening his queen. Although actually it comes out to kind of equality. Actually, you know what? Yeah, kind of equality. Okay, so he takes back. Yeah. So all right, not much difference. All right, I actually thought for some reason that we're gonna hold on to this bishop, but no, the queen is protected. So yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter. Okay, sorry about that. Let's move on. E takes, knight takes. Okay, rook f to e8. Bishop takes. Okay. Ooh, ouch. So yeah, what is this called? Can anybody name this type of technique? What is this?
Skewer.
Yeah,
It's
this is a skew. Yeah,
Skewer.
skewer or an X-ray, right? We are X-raying the rook through the queen, right? The valuable piece is in front, so we must move the queen away. So yeah, queen there, G6.
Danilo, can
Yeah.
you specify the difference between a skewer and a relative pin?
Skewer and a relative pin. So basically a skewer is the opposite of a pin, right? A pin is where so this would be, let's go back. So skewer is where the valuable piece is in front, right? So a pin, I'll just show you an example of a pin. Let me go back. Let's see. So let's go back to this position. If the bishop was not on e7, this would be a pin, right? This would be a relative pin, more specifically, right? Because the knight can move, although it's inadvisable for the knight to move because you're going to lose your queen, right? And so the knight usually, in most cases, does not want to move, right? As opposed to an absolute pin, if it would be a king here, then it would be against the rules for the knight to move because you can never put yourself in check, right? So that's the way you can think about it. Pin, skewer, they're complete opposites, right? Right.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. All right. So let's go back. Let's see here. Okay. All right. So skewer here. Queen. Okay. Okay. Let me ask you guys this. I just said that's a skewer. So why doesn't white take the black rook?
Queen would be
Well,
loose.
lose the queen.
Right. So the bishop is protecting the queen, right? So we take the bishop, take the rook, and the queen is lost, right? So I mean, he went queen here. I mean, I kind of find that a weird move. Okay, I guess it's okay, but I just go ahead.
White should have taken the queen to mess up black's formation and then take the rook. Then the queens would be off the board and white would be up the exchange, a rook for a bishop.
Right. So yeah, queen takes here. I mean, it just seems more of a natural move to make. Then you take, and now that white is winning in material, white actually has an extra rook. So what's the general strategy if you're winning in material?
Trade off more material.
Yeah. So the idea is that you don't want to be fancy. Leave the fanciness to the top players, right? what you want to do is play simple and uncomplicated chess, right? Because chess is complicated enough, right? We don't want to make it more complicated for you. So you want to eliminate counterplay by your opponent, right? And the way that you do that is trade as many pieces as possible. So here, white's best move would probably be take the bishop, and now black only has a rook and a knight, and white has an extra rook and an extra pawn, and will probably very easily win this game, right? So that should be the strategy. So by white keeping the queens on the board like this, he's he's probably still winning, but he's just increasing the likelihood that black might come back, right? Because chess, anything can happen, so
Can you
yeah.
go back a couple of moves just to, I'm just trying to remember. I mean, I remember feeling kind of lost at this point in the game.
Yeah.
So, by the time I moved the queen up to D6, it was like, okay, what do I do now? And so that triggered that whole problem where I ended up losing the bishop. And then what would have been a good move?
On which move?
Well,
go back.
Let's see. Go.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
these are okay. So right here. Okay, so right here. First of all, knight h4. Not such a strong move. I think much better would be here's something to think about. Like when you're playing your games and you don't know what to do, right? Which is what a lot of I hear beginners say a lot. I can play the opening pretty well. I know the principles and everything, but then it comes to the middle game. I have no idea what to do. I'm lost. I don't know how to continue. And so one thing, general rule you can keep in mind is just look at all your pieces and just do an overall assessment and think, are all my pieces on their optimal positions? Are they all doing productive work? What do you think? In this position, are all of black's pieces being productive?
Well, the rook on f7 is f8 is doing much. But
rook on f8 is doing nothing. Rook on b8 is on a half open file, so you can kind of say it's doing a good job, but definitely the rook on f8 is doing absolutely nothing. So much better would have been put that on the half open file, right? Rooks want to be on open files or ranks or half open files, right? So these are when rooks are most powerful, okay? And this would be, definitely a much stronger move. And the game would continue. So you want to make sure all your pieces are participating in the game before you start attacking, right? And here, knight h5 constitutes an attack in my mind, and it doesn't make sense if you're not having all of your pieces participate, right? So yeah, general rule of thumb. All right, so let's go on.
Right, stop.
Say again.
Stop. Stop.
Chess.
Stop.
Okay.
Stop.
Okay, let's go on. All right. Queen G6.
Wait a minute.
All
Push.
right. Ooh,
You
ouch. Okay. Okay, so now
Oh, I
that
fell
loses the rook
asleep. Where's my
completely.
chess?
Okay. So let me think here. Okay, so what would be a better move than bishop to D6? What do you all think? Better move than bishop to D6.
Rook back to F8.
Rook back to F8. What do you guys think? Good move or bad move?
You
I
lose
don't
the-
like it.
Why?
I want to protect the bishop from knight on d5, no?
Why is Rook F8 a bad move?
'cause the knight will take the bishop with the queen.
Yeah, knight takes, and we have a royal fork right here. No good. So the rook is doing a good job. So we have to keep the rook there, definitely. And if we move the bishop away, now white will just win an entire rook for nothing. So what would be a better move here? What do you think?
Queen to D5, D6.
Queen to D6. All right, so that's okay. That is a good move.
I suggested D6. That's E6.
Oh, D6. Sorry, D6.
Sure.
D6. No, definitely not a good move.
No. Oh yeah, there's that.
Yeah. Yeah. So no D6, but Queen E6 actually is an interesting move. Why? Let's see. Okay, so one thing that Queen E6 does is it drops this knight. This knight is no longer protected. So that could be problematic. Yeah, could be problematic. So another idea I was thinking about is, since you can't move the rook and you don't want to move the bishop, just try to protect both of them, right? King F8 protects both of them together, right? And now, now the game can continue. You're still down a piece.
Why is D6 not a good move? Bishop to D6.
Oh, bishop D6, because now white wins the rook
Oh, right.
entirely, right? For no compensation, really. Although he does win that piece, but now what's the best move? What's the best move for white here? Bishop takes C7 is a very bad move. Why?
Because knight to D or knight to E7.
Yeah, so remember, there's a fork here, right? The king and queen are right there ready to be forked. So got to be very careful about that. You know, actually, this is a triple fork, right? So it's also called a family fork or royal fork. So yeah, so knights are especially good at forking pieces, although every piece can deliver fork, but knights are especially good at it. So you always have to be careful when there are knights on the board. Always have to think about that. So knight E7.
What was the piece that black took on c7? I can't remember. You just did it, but
Oh, you took a bishop.
oh, okay, right.
Yeah, I took a bishop. Yeah.
So what would have been a better move in this position?
Yeah. So here you're down a
down-
rook and a bishop.
Hmm.
So getting difficult. It's getting difficult to find good moves. Let's see here.
How about bishop e5 to threaten the rook?
Bishop E5.
No, never mind.
It doesn't really work. Queen can just come down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult. So by the way, over here, when you analyze your games, it gives you this number right here. You see this number? This is 11. So 11.3. This means that white's advantage right now is so great. It's equivalent to white having 11 extra pawns. That's what that means, right? So basically, white is extremely having the initiative, and it has a much better position.
Or to say black is screwed.
Or black is screwed, yeah.
So
but you know what?
What was the best move?
So here, yeah, I just turned on Stockfish. So here, the computer says rook takes C7 is the better move, but I mean, it's not so good either. but okay.
No, but what was the best move going before that?
Before what? Oh, in this position? All
Yeah.
right, so let's look at this one. So here, okay, so here in this position, I said king f8, and the computer says take the bishop here. All right. I mean, you can take the bishop, and he still takes the rook. So, yeah. But
And his other rook is exposed.
yeah, the other rook is there, and now you're ready to do this fork again. So, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. All right. So let's go back. All right. So yeah. So by the way, when you analyze, so you can do that request computer analysis, but also if you want to do move by move analysis, you can just turn on Stockfish immediately. See, that turns on immediately, and all these arrows begin to appear of what the computer thinks is best. All right. So let's go back. So by the way, Richard, I'm very happy that you didn't resign, because in most people in this kind of position would just resign out of desperation. I'm really happy you didn't resign. You know what? You know what I always say? Make your opponent prove that they can beat you, right? Because so many times I see beginners resign.
Lost your sound.
Say again?
We hear you.
You hear me? Okay. So yeah, so I say, make your opponent prove they can beat you, because so many times so many times beginners resign prematurely, and that's not good, because again, anything can happen. Was it Yogi Berra say that's not over until it's over, right? So make them bring you to checkmate. Although at the higher levels of chess, it's considered like disrespectful to like not resign when you're clearly lost. But still, I would like with my kids. So many times one of them is so depressed he's losing, and one of them's crying, and they resign. I'm like, don't resign. And so many times when they keep playing, the one who was crying ends up winning. So again, you never know. You never know. All right, so let's continue. Almost done. All right, take.
Anira, can you hear me? I can't hear you anymore.
Yes, I can hear you. Who's that? Was that Monty? Oh yeah, yeah, I can hear you. All right, so wow, it's 8 o'clock. I couldn't believe we passed so quick. All right, so let's
One of the most fun I ever had was when I was desperately down. I decided to play for a stalemate and succeeded.
Yeah,
I felt like I won.
You see, stuff like that happens. I'm telling you, don't resign prematurely. All right, so take, and I'll commend you, Richard. You did not resign at all prematurely here. Great job. So here, clearly lost, but you're like, prove to me that you can beat me. Excellent. And then
The end is near.
Okay. So who can find the mate? Who can find the mate here? Mate in 1.
Queen H7.
Queen to where?
H7.
Queen H7. No, king can escape on F8.
Queen
No.
to F7.
Queen to F7. Yeah, Queen F7 is mate. Very nice mate, and the king cannot escape to the H file due to the rook. So yeah, good game, Richard. I think it was very instructive, and yeah. So please, if you guys, any of you play games, send me some of them. I think they'd be great to analyze. All right. And yeah, any questions, let me know. I will email you all the link to this video. You guys can review it again. So yeah, wonderful seeing you guys again. I will see you all next week.
Okay.
I hope you have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
Thank
You
you.
too.
All right, you're welcome.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Good class.
Thank you.